Hi Aquarius, it's Romy. Welcome to my channel. This is your October 2021 soul story. So if you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, this is the reading for you. We are going to offer you some clarity and help to break down these energies with some insights that will hopefully help you to feel a bit more empowered and trusting in yourself as you come up against the experiences and situations of this next few weeks. So we're opening up with the energy of the Knight of Swords, this air energy, and she's flying in on a feather here. The spiritual growth that you've been going through is really reaching an important shift. There's a tipping point, if you like, and a moment where all of a sudden you're going to start to connect the dots in a much more profound way through the course of October. We have both Saturn and Jupiter shifting direct mid-month, and this is important because they're in your sign, so you're going to be feeling that quite powerfully. And the Knight of Swords moves swiftly. She's got something to share here. News, messages are afoot. And, there's something about like breaking through the confusion. Now, we still have Mercury in retrograde through fellow air sign Libra right until the 18th of the month. And so, we have to be clear in terms of what we're really feeling and how we want to kind of present and express that and make sure that it's coming across in a way that has integrity. So there's a bit of a truth cleanse that I feel you need to do in the pause before you actually decide to kind of express what you're ready to. That's going to make a big difference in some situations so that people don't misconstrue or get the wrong end of the stick in terms of what you have to say. What I want to really highlight to you is that this is a time when you're going to be redefining so much. I think it's figuring out what matters and why it matters, because that's going to be the fuel to your faith. And there's this expectation, I feel, that you're putting upon yourself to make sure that you are really applying what you've learned. Like there's something that is coming in from a sort of sense of integrity that like it really matters to you in October to be making decisions and getting involved with things and investing your energy in what actually feels like it's really aligned with your values and your philosophy. That ninth house energy that Libra activates for you is wanting to kind of give you a sense of higher purpose. And when we welcome the new moon in Libra coming in on the 6th of the month, it's conjunct with Mars and it's trining the goddess asteroid Ceres, which is the goddess of harvest and nourishment. Now she's in Gemini, fellow air sign, and she's really talking to us about the language of our soul right now. 8 of Wands. And again, you've got something lifting off here as we emerge into October. So this is also going to be a really auspicious time for some of you if you are trying to get something out into the world, to share something, if you're trying to embark on a new pathway, a new journey, or even take a relationship to a new level. Of course, in Libra season, remember, there's a firm focus and emphasis around partnerships and connections. Now, retrograde energy with Mercury, especially in Libra, will bring people back from the past, and so you may be having a revisitation to certain things, and from a karmic perspective there might be some stuff there that is going to be valuable for you to consider. You have no time for anyone or anything that feels duplicitous in nature, and so it's important that we have these moments to have a real truth cleanse in terms of the type of energy that we are engaging in. I have a sense as well, there's almost this feeling like you're not going to be able to get answers, or you're being fobbed off at some moment, through that early part of October. It could feel frustrating, but actually if we look at it in another way, Aquarius, what it's going to do is it's going to set you on the path to discover something for yourself. This is important because what we want to do right now more than anything is to really allow you to trust in what you're feeling more clearly than anything else, because the choices that we make, we want to know that they're coming from deep within our sacred soul self, not that they're a projection or that we are being overly influenced or coerced by anyone or anything outside of us. You are wholly deserving of the things that you seek in your life right now, and anyone or anything that is making you feel desperate is not something something that we can align to energetically. Now on the 6th, Pluto also shifts direct in Capricorn, and regarding this inner transformation that we've been cultivating the last few months, there's now a kind of cosmic directive that says, let's be completely devoted to now allowing these things that we've come to understand within ourselves to be expressed outwardly, so that we can start to see the true physical manifestations of them showing up. You have the energy of the Queen of Wands coming in. Now, here's some fire that is going to fuel your faith. Now, maybe there is a fire sign, an Aries, Sagittarius, or Leo, who's also going to be on the scene, and you have something to learn from them. There's a lot of communication that seems to be taking place between you and this person, and I think that can be like rich, creative energy for you, even if it's coming from a place of contrast, i.e. what they're saying annoys you or riles you up. But of course, they could also be coming in on that energy that reminds you what your potential is. And I think it's really important that you recognize there is some real auspicious gifts that are going to be dropped into your pathway through the course of October, especially when we see Jupiter shifting direct on the 17th, because you've got a new vibrational energy in relation to abundance here. Lady Luck is coming in, and all of a sudden now there's a green light and the gates are open. So things that have felt backed up, you're going to start to see the signs of things emerging and getting back on track a little bit. But what you want to do is just take that pause and just make sure that what you have been redefining for yourself and what you have prioritized and why it matters is just, things are in the right order, okay? I think you're also going to find, Aquarius, that there's going to be some sense of clarity about what it's going to take in order to fill the void. And, some of you may be feeling that void because of what you've had to let go or surrender, or even because you've sort of shed a skin and you've gone a little bit deeper into the next layer of self in terms of your own soul growth. And what you've come to understand is that, okay, now I identify this is where I'm feeling a sense of yearning or, a sense of loss. And so what is it going to take? What is it going to require to nourish that void? This is what we're really going to be firmly focused on through this month of October as well. Now, you've got Temperance energy coming in, which I really like, because of course she wants to highlight the need for balance and the need for moderation. And one of the other things to be mindful of through October, Aquarius, is that we have this kind of jolting energy when these planets station direct. It always feels like there's almost a lurch forward, and sometimes that can be quite uncomfortable, and it can disrupt our rhythm and our flow and our harmony a little bit. And even the Knight of Swords can end up feeling like an energy that feels a bit aggressive almost and sort of provocative. What you need to understand is that this is temporary energies and feelings that you might be going through, and sometimes that pattern interruption, as uncomfortable as it is, can be quite important, because it just makes you to stop and think or look at something in a slightly different way. And again, just like we're saying how you can't get answers or you might be being fobbed off in some regard, this disruption or jolt energy is also really important, because it's going to make you see something or tune into something. Spirit are going to grab your attention in a way that you'd perhaps been overlooking, and that's going to make a huge difference. You have to recognize at this point, we don't always have full control over the things that come into our path that hurt us, but we do have control and influence and empowerment in terms of what our healing journey looks like. And there's something that I see you really prioritizing and taking responsibility for in relation to that as well this month, Aquarius, because the energy that you want to then put into the important relationships in your life, investing into your work, your career, your family, it's coming from a higher state of consciousness now. There is this tipping point. We are shifting timelines. We are entering a new paradigm. And the sun energy suggests here that the healing work that you have been doing and continue to do with that inner child is really what's the making of you as a empowered, conscious, joyful, and inspired adult, and this matters because you're kind of setting the tone. You're leading the charge in so many ways for so many people right now. And, your grief, your struggles, your doubts, the questions that you've got, they're not an inconvenience. difference. And I think as you start to recognize more and more that, this is really the breadcrumb trail back to kind of coming home to yourself, you're going to start to make a breakthrough in October that could be quite mind-blowing for you. And I think it's going to make a huge difference in terms of how you relate to many of the people in your life. Now, the sun also suggests to me that we do have this positive news that's coming through with that Eight of Wands. So again, pay attention around when Jupiter goes direct on the 17th for that dropping in. We are also going to be approaching a full moon in Aries, fire energy coming in. Now, there are some opposing transits happening there with Mars and Pluto, so it could get quite fiery at that time. You're going to find yourself feeling very, very clear about specific things and not really prepared to be silenced, not prepared to shrink back into the, into the background. And the Emperor energy here is encouraging you and kind of calling you forward to take control and to set a new agenda for yourself and the people and the situations in your life where you are looking to effect change. People will get on board with you when you speak from a place of true heart and passion and belief in what you're talking about, and also knowing that it's what the right thing is for you. But what you also might feel with that Emperor energy coming in is that there are some powerful people of influence that may be showing up on your path, either on a very personal level, i.e. you are literally introduced, there is networking and opportunities that are being presented to you, but you also may just come across them. It may be somebody new who inspires you by way of a teacher or a mentor or something that you stumble across inadvertently, but actually really truly guided from spiritually, because this is going to make the difference of you just taking that next step in terms of how you're evolving. Now, of course, some of you are going to feel that sense of someone or something tried to dominate you or trying to control a specific outcome. And again, here, this is where I want to remind you about what is fueling your faith right now, because even temporarily, you may find yourself in a set of circumstances that do not equate to what you see your life as becoming, as what you see the future looks like for you. And your Ace of Pentacles is a reminder here that the seeds that you're sowing right now, even in this energy landscape of contrast, of, frenzy, of, lower vibrational energy in the collective in some areas, it's more vitally important than ever before that you really make sense of things, that you connect the dots, but you hold true to the vision of yourself. Now, I see new vitality and energy coming your way. I see you starting to look at what does nourish you and understanding what's going to start to fill that void. It doesn't mean it all arrives all at once, but what it does mean is that you're starting to put things in place for yourself so that over the next 6 to 9 months, there is huge transformation happening in your life on a very personal level. It is very personal right now, Aquarius. You might be looking at things from a collective and understanding what it's going to take to do things that are going to support the whole of humanity. We all need to step up to that. But how do we approach that? By making it deeply personal. Now, you do have a new offer coming your way. It feels like an offer to me that is very progressive. It could be a new friendship, a new connection, a new relationship, maybe a new job offer, or an idea of a new initiative, or something that you want to take forward in business. It may be that there's a requirement in relation to that offer, Aquarius, where you have to invest something in. You have to put a little skin in the game, right? Now, for me, that doesn't feel challenging, and it doesn't feel like something that should feel scary. So you're going to know by the way it feels, if it feels secure to you, if you're like, of course, I'm prepared to invest this much time or this much energy, or I'm going to give this a go. Then that's the kind of approach that's going to see something really blossom for you over the coming weeks. So pay attention to how that comes in. Now, as we move past that full moon in Aries, and remember, people might be really vocal about what they're feeling in and around that time. So from a relationship perspective, you are going to get to the heart of the matter. There'll be some truly interesting, perhaps even a few shocking revelations that come in. But your King of Wands is showing me that from that, you get vision. You get inspired, you get fired up. Now, sometimes that comes about because we're riled up, but actually what you can do with that energy, if you want to look at October in this regard, right, everything that comes your way, you can be like the alchemist and the magician. You can use it because regardless, it's still energy. The worst thing is if there was no response. So even if there's a response that isn't favorable, you still get to kind of take that and make it work for you. I'm going to use this energy and I'm going to help it to fuel me in this direction. That's going to be really powerful. Now, you may have a fire sign. Again, we mentioned this earlier in the reading, that is going to be really significant. So again, I feel like this is somebody who's coming in to inspire you in some regard. If it is on a relationship sense, I feel like it's also a meeting of minds as well as a meeting of heart, so there's something about a shared passion, but it's the way you think and the language that you have. So whether this is on a personal or a professional capacity, this person, as they step in, I feel is wholly valuable in helping you to see yourself differently. Sometimes we need that mirror, don't we, so that we can kind of really understand the growth and the value of sort of what we've been through. Now, when we move our way toward the end of October, we're going to be coming into Scorpio season. It is that 10th house energy which is going to be pushing and driving you to think about the legacy that you're leaving, the imprint that you have energetically, and especially a focus in and around work and career. And yet we've got the Four of Swords coming in here. So there's something about taking time to really make sure that your message is what you want it to be. It's about striking that right balance. You've got Temperance and the Four of Swords here, so you're going to have to give yourself downtime, and it may be that there's a lot of, with that jolting, lurching energy, that you're very productive for short, sharp periods of time, and then you need a lot of recovery. So work with your own personal rhythm this month. That's going to really serve you very well. Mars shifts into Scorpio on the 30th, and it's going to give you a sense of focus and instinct and almost challenge you to do the impossible. You may have a wobble or doubt yourself, but really you are so much more together than you think you are right now. And of course, when we come into the 31st, all the way through to the 1st, 2nd, 3rd of November, we're in Samhain, we're in that time of the year where the veil is at its thinnest, Halloween, and you can really connect with spirit and those on the other side, and they're going to help you to kind of feel like you are on track. An important message or sign is going to be coming your way. White feathers falling seems really appropriate here as we look at that Four of Swords, but even in your meditation, your connection, your rituals, you're going to feel more at peace with the guidance that you have on a spiritual level than you ever have before. Take notice of that, Aquarius, because I feel it's also going to steer you away from anyone or anything that is more controversial and is not going to be good for you or helpful for you. Pay attention to your language, understanding what is harmful to you, even if it's throwaway comments to yourself and others. You're going to get, the opportunity to revisit something that you have earlier put out or expressed. It may be a project, something at work, it may be a message that was given to someone. So the opportunity to review and have another conversation about that. Did you really mean it like that? Was it expressed in the right way? How would you like to do it different, or say it or present it in a different way now? That's going to be really positive for you, because there'll be something new that you're going to add to it. I love that the sun is like shining really brightly in the center of this reading, because it's telling you that there's something to feel optimistic, positive, and to hold on to. But you also need to understand, where is my energy source? Where am I getting that nourishment from? Asking that question and redefining things in your life, figuring out what matters and why it matters, is going to make a huge impact on how you actually are able to navigate through this month. So let's take a look at the Oracle cards and see how they just want to join this conversation for you, Aquarius. Even moving forward this month 1 inch, it's just like the smallest amount of progress is something that is enough. It needs to be celebrated. This is what we need right now. Your Oracle card is milk and honey. You have this beautiful blessing coming in with the rainbow. You've got a face in the clouds here, which really feels to me like a message from spirit coming through. So be aware of how those clouds are shape-shifting into interesting messages through October. And then you've got the elephant sitting in the milk and honey here. There's sweetness, there's a blessing, there's something to feel good and optimistic and positive about, you know, yourself through this month. And it's difficult because I feel like you may have that beautiful news that you only get to share with a really small amount of, people, just because the timing, or perhaps just how personal it is, or because there's only certain people that would really understand what this means to you and how deeply personal it is. Don't worry if there's not anyone who can fully see or kind of appreciate, or even if you've lost a loved one that you want to share this more so than ever before. Here's a reminder that they are actually here acknowledging in every step of the way with you, okay? So your Moonology card, let's take a look here. A win-win outcome is forecast. Full moon in Libra. So we've got the scales of Libran energy that you're working with right now in terms of that balance. And of course, we're going to be looking at a time, that's a 6-month period as we're in the new moon in Libra on the 6th. So what's happening between now and that full moon into 2022 during Aries season is that a beautiful, successful outcome is assured for you. So those seeds you are planting now are going to make a massive difference in terms of what you are experiencing in your own personal timeline and soul journey. Of course, Libran energy wants to bring harmony, it wants to bring balance, especially in our relationships. And so for me, this also feels very significant for those of you that are trying to improve or get something to a place in a specific connection that you feel is going to work for you moving forward. So again, something that happens this month is going to act like the tipping point for you in that aspect, which is really beautiful. But pay attention, this is the next 6 months that you're going to really see the full transformation of what can happen in relation to that connection for you. Okay, so we have divine creation, acceptance, personal commitments, euphoria. Well, let's just talk about euphoria, because you do have this milk and honey, the sun energy coming through, this burst of fire showing up with all of these wands. And so, you are coming to terms with something and using that knowledge and experience wisely. And the way that you share it out, you heal and then you teach, Aquarius. The divine way that you're starting to kind of see your soul journey unfold right now is giving you a deeper sense of acceptance, even in the light of things that don't feel like they're working right now, or don't necessarily present you with a physical manifestation that feels like it's what you were hoping or expecting for at this point in the game. Remember, between now and the end of the year, the energy is charged, it's moving quickly, and you really can't sort of feel like anything is truly set in stone yet. There's an awful lot that still has to play out, and you still have absolutely all of the potential and the possibility right now to completely transform things for yourself on multiple levels. And we want to just remind you about what is it going to take to fuel your faith right now. That's what you want to focus on. So this is a general reading for the month of October, Aquarius. If you want to join me for the extended version, I'm going to invite you to think about a question right now that you might not have considered was clear through the main general reading. And we'll pull a couple of specific cards to look at that for you in the extended version. Okay, and I'm just going to clarify this main 9-card spread now for us, just beginning with the Knight of Swords, because what we're going to do is just pull out some additional messages in that clarifying reading. So we've got the 5 of Cups coming in here, 6 of Pentacles, another 4 of Swords here, and we also have another Sun energy. Don't be too quick to judge different situations right now. We've got another Emperor coming in here, so this may also be a specific person. King of Swords, Knight of Cups, okay, we have the Lovers and the 10 of Swords here. Hierophant coming in here, feeling very linked into Taurus energy with that. So do we know a Taurus, or do we want to track back specifically to around May? Because I feel that's important in terms of some of the events and things that are unfolding for you this month. Okay, that Emperor's bringing in a little bit of disruptive energy with the Three of Swords and the Tower there, so we'll take a bit more of a look into that in the extended. Nice, 2 Ace of Pentacles coming through. Beautiful, rejuvenating energy. Got a water sign showing up here as well with that King of Cups, and I really want to say Scorpio feels significant when we talk about that. Ace of Swords. And the Moon. Okay, Aquarius, I'm going to leave it there. I look forward to continuing this conversation if you are joining me on the extended. Be sure to check out your rising and your moon sign as well across the other soul stories. And if you've enjoyed and feel the resonance of this, please do drop me a like and a comment. Thank you for tuning in. You take good care of yourselves. Bye for now.